just to mention, like last time we said maybe there is a Skype app coming in React Native. So what they announced just recently is Microsoft has developed a framework called React XP, which is the new Skype versions will be based on. This essentially has the React Native API. So, but they also add support for desktop. This means currently Electron. Electron, you probably know, is kind of a Chrome browser for the desktop. You can wrap your application in it and wrap a HTML web page, but they will also add support for Windows. So if you want to write universal Windows apps, then this is also an option, doing this by React XP in React Native. Also, there's, of course, React Native OS X or Mac OS. I don't know what exactly it's called. So there are several options now. React VR, like I already announced a few meetups back, is now, I think, official, and essentially seems like people start to be interested, meaning big companies. So just this is not React Native, but for those of you probably who is a beginner in React Native, so not so many like the first time, but for those, React and React Native are almost the same. This is a free course on React, doing websites, and that's quite nice. So if you go to reacttraining.com, of course they have paid courses, that's the whole idea, but this is a whole free course for React, the newest version. So what's more, if you want to learn about building UIs with React Native, there's a project called 30 Days of React Native. Essentially, you see here animated GIFs. Yeah?
Actually, the code base is really shit to learn. Like,
yeah?
It's really bad.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Then take his advice. I've just taken like 2 or 3 examples and they were okay. But as you can see here, these are a couple of examples how you could do React Native looking like native apps. And these are all code examples how you can do this. So what's more is Airbnb basically bought the Deco IDE, like you've heard, and open sourced it. And essentially what they published almost immediately after is there's a new library called React Sketch app. That essentially a lot of designers are using Sketch. This is this kind of design tool for UIs. And what this is essentially you can on the left side in your editor change the code, and in the right side in Sketch you immediately see the code update your UI. So this is kind of interesting. I haven't used it myself and I don't know if I will use it or not, but for those that are using Sketch, maybe that's an interesting movement. So what's more, the guy who developed this offline, or the framework we saw last time in the third-party meetup, like the, what was it called? The Futurized meetup. He's no longer working there, but essentially he gives a bit of hints what's currently good to use in React Native. So styled components, for example, React Navigation we've talked about, Redux Persist, Redux Observable, something maybe we can have a look at. What I find kind of interesting, I knew before, but prettier if you're battling between your colleagues, if you should put double quotes or indent by spaces or how many spaces or whatever. Prettier is a library that automatically formats your code and you don't get all the warnings like ESLint says, well, you have to indent 2 or 3 or 4 spaces, and this just formats it for you. So you can write the way you want and then you save it, or I've done this automatically in saving and your code gets formatted. No more double quote battles. So then there's of course Storybook, which we will here talk about. Just an enzyme we've heard. Flow, probably you know. It's like TypeScript. Yarn we've talked about. And maybe an interesting read, React Native app stack. And last but not least, so the new React Native version has new list component that renders faster. If you want to read how this works, a full example is here. Even a live demo you can try out on the web. So if you're interested in this, just check out this article. And with this, I close my short summary and welcome to you and hand it over to Jonas. Thank you.